What's going on, everybody? B-Sky here with
G.O.D.
And on today's show, we're going to the waiver wire. It's week 11, week 10's in the books. We had a Monday night matchup. Two terrible teams.
Yeah.
It was a terrible game for the most part.
Hey, they don't call them the bad news bears for no reason.
Yeah, absolutely. So, bad offense against a subpar defense and a subpar offense against a good defense.
Just two teams that nobody really wanted to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're going to go to the waiver wire. We're going to target a lot of players at each position for you. So, keep it locked and loaded right here at the first four downs.
You got,
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. B-Scott and G.O.D. here, and we're going over the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Just had a week 11. It's time for the playoff push. Plain and simple. Must-win games from here on out for a lot of you.
Period.
Absolutely. So, we had a great weekend of football.
It was great for some people. For some people, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Week 10 pretty much sucked.
Yeah. Honestly, just looking at a lot of the leagues this year with everything going on, everything's close. No one's just blowing out everybody else. I mean, every week, there's somebody else that's dominating and stuff like that, and with the COVID stuff, it's really affecting the games.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So,
Of course.
before we get to today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share, thumb, bell, all the good stuff. Tell us what you want to hear. You know what I mean? We're here for you. We're here to give you advice. So, that's why we're here for. And considering Drew Brees, just talked right off the bat, rib fractures, obviously, collapsed lung.
Punctured lung.
Exactly. He may not play the rest of the year.
Yeah, he's got cracked ribs on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, and he's over 40 years old.
Yeah.
So it's not good for him. So we'll mention right into the first waiver, in my opinion, at the quarterback position, Jameis Winston.
Of course, you go from cracked ribs to crab legs.
I'm telling you. So New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
They're playing the Atlanta Falcons this week. The secondary's not very good. Their defense has really stepped it up over the last couple weeks, but it's still not elite. Jameis Winston is going to be probably practiced as a starter. Now, yes, Taysom Hill will probably see a little uptick in his production with what he's going to get, but Jameis will be the starter, in my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. So, if he's a starting quarterback on an elite offense like that, I'd be picking him up and starting him this week.
Yeah, I would too. You have to worry about him throwing the short targets that Drew Brees actually throws, but honestly, I think that this move could honestly make them a better offense. You know what I'm saying? For them to throw down the field. You see when Drew Brees went down, he did target the running backs a lot, but also he was targeting Mike Thomas a lot too. So, you know, they were bad targets. But, you know what I'm saying? A week to game plan. We'll see what happens. Let's get Jameis Winston in your lineups. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has history with the Atlanta Falcons. That secondary, like you said, is not really elite.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That they can play, but against Michael Thomas and these Saints, I don't know. I think it might be the perfect storm.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jameis Winston, owned 2% of leagues, obviously. No one owns him. Atlanta twice. Denver, Philly. Those are four. Those are four secondaries you can beat. So I'd be getting them and definitely playing them in my lineup, you know, over some other quarterbacks. So
roster Jameis Winston.
Of course. So we'll move on. Tua.
Yeah.
Once again, 41% owned. Back-to-back weeks, 2 touchdowns. Now, is he lighting up the scoreboard? No, not necessarily. But he's getting it done. He's playing efficiently. He's not turning the ball over. They're winning football games. They got the Denver Broncos. It is in Denver. Tough spot to play, period. But Drew Lock, looking like he's hurt. He might be missing the game there. Miami's probably going to be favored in that game.
Yeah.
I like Tua as a possible starter here this week.
Tua, I mean, you got to give it to him. He's producing. But, I mean, there's a little part of me that wonders if the way the defense is playing so good, you wonder if Ryan Fitzpatrick being in there, would they make them like a really solidified playoff type of team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got a lot more to see about Tua, but if you have to stream him this week, I mean, honestly, there's only one quarterback out, Josh Allen, that's out on the bye weeks this week. But, you know, if you have to roster him, you in that kind of position, maybe you got Bridgewater, Tua could be a viable option for you.
Yeah, and there's a couple tough games this week.
Yeah.
Teams playing tough defenses. So we know that's possible. Ryan Tannehill once again playing, you know what I mean?
Baltimore.
So exactly.
Yeah.
That's not a good spot there. So
he's not been playing very well.
No. So we'll move to the next guy. Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna bring him up. Okay. I get it. It's Kirk Cousins. You're trying to put trust in Kirk Cousins, but they are playing the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Minnesota home against the Dallas Cowboys. I'll take my chances any day. Now, the only thing you gotta worry about is Dalvin Cook has 500 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? It's a possibility, but I really do think Kirk Cousins is still an option stream.
Yeah, I think you hit that on the head. I mean, it could be any point in the game where Dalvin Cook just completely takes over. But also, Justin Jefferson could just be getting hit.
Yeah.
Thielen could be getting hit. So, in a juicy matchup like that, why not add that kind of guy when you need somebody that's available.
Absolutely, definitely a stream option this week. And one other guy I'm going to mention, Derek Carr. Mentioned him 2 weeks and he's done terrible. He's really beating me up right now. But they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs and they're at home. That means they're going to have to score the ball. I really do. They had 300 yards, 3 touchdowns against these Chiefs in Kansas City. Just a viable guy that you might be able to take a chance with this week.
I mean, that's true, but I don't think a coach like Andy Reid is going to go back into a game plan to where you already seen it once. You ain't going to fool him twice.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Given that you said that Mahomes is out with 3 offensive linemen right now. So, you know, this could turn very bad very quickly. But I still think Kansas City rolls over him. And, yes, Derek Carr will probably have to put the ball in the air.
Yeah, of course. So just another little option. So we'll move to the wide receiver position. Lots of wide receivers you can pick up. Some guys we'll talk about, obviously. We're going to start with Michael Pittman Jr.
Base.
You saw him on Thursday night. 7 catches, 101 yards. Looking like Philip Rivers' favorite target at the moment. The tight end position, no Jack Doyle.
Well, he's Philip Rivers' only target, right?
Yeah, on the outside.
You know what? On the offseason, I wasn't very high on Michael Pittman, given that nobody's ever come out of USC and just been a beast like that. But I think we're in a situation where we're seeing this guy emerge as a top 15 receiver next year. You know what I'm saying? I think he has that kind of talent, and I think even with if they go forward next year with Brissett, bro, I think he's still gonna be a beast, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If they don't sign Rivers back, so I mean, rest of the season they schedule's like pretty cakewalk. So I'm owning them regardless. I'm gonna have them on waiver tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This week at home against Green Bay Packers. Look for Jair Alexander, see if he's still out of the lineup. Throw a ton in that game. Of course, so they might be needing to throw the ball. Who knows what's going to happen with the running back carousel there. So, and on top of that, down the stretch, Houston twice, Las Vegas Raiders, Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steelers. All secondaries you can throw the ball on.
Yeah.
You know, realistically. So, Michael Pittman, definitely a guy you add. Maybe not slide him in your lineup right away, but you never know. Down the stretch, he could be viable. So, we'll move on. Bashar Pyramin.
Yeah.
Coming out of the bye week. 8% owned. 5 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. We saw Joe Flacco throwing the ball downfield.
Yeah, that guy's a killer. And, you know, like we've been saying, he already got that report with Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
That's where he was drafted. So, I mean, I think he would be his most trusted receiver going forward. I know Jamison Crowder's been a beast with Sam Darnold and everything like that. But, I mean, we just seen what Pyramin did.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And we seen what Pyramin did last year. I think he could be one of those guys that could possibly break it open for you in this playoff push.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, rest of the season. I definitely like him considering Sam Darnold rolled out before practice even started this week. You know what I mean? So it's like at the end of the day, Sam Darnold may not play another game this year.
He may not play another game again.
Possibly. The Jets. You know their defense is terrible. They're going to have to throw the football. And they got a lot of competitive games coming up. I mean, they're going to have to throw. We already know this. So, Bashar Pyramin, definitely a guy you should be picking up. Maybe not, like I said, not just throwing him in your lineup this week. Los Angeles Chargers. Secondary has been great. We know they've given up 29 points or more over the last 6 weeks. So it's a guy that I would possibly be streaming even this week.
Yeah, you don't know if Moneybag Joey Bosa, if he's going to be back in this game, you know what I mean, with the concussion. So that pressure, I mean, Joe Flacco could potentially be there all game long, sitting back there throwing the football.
Yeah, of course. And we know he can't. I mean, their running back is 100 years old. So Jalen Reagar. Move to the next guy. We talked about him. We talked about him a couple times. Last week especially, coming out of the bye. So 26%.
It's hard.
I know it's hard.
Carson Wentz sucks.
I know it's hard. So 7 targets, right? Led the team in target share, 19%. They're playing at Cleveland this week.
Yeah.
You got to watch the weather. It's been hurricane season, obviously, in Cleveland. I don't know what's going on. So definitely watch the weather. But he's the leading receiver on that team. Obviously, we see it with the target share. He likes throwing to him. Bradbury was defending him on a lot of his passes last week. That's why I feel like Reagar's numbers were down a little bit. But, yes, Jalen Reagar's still an option down the stretch. Cleveland, Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Arizona, Dallas. All these teams can score points, and that tells me Philly's going to have to score points. And Miles Sanders is back. They were fully healthy. I cannot believe they lost to the Giants. If I was Doug Peterson, I'm sorry. Carson Wentz, just have a seat. Have a seat.
And that's all I got to say about that.
That's it. I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts, you might as well see what you got with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
you drafted him in the second round.
Carson just has not looked good all season. I mean, I even drafted him in our league as my second quarterback.
Yeah.
And I just seen it early on that he was not. His mechanics is just not there.
Yep.
He's running out of pocket in the wrong times to extend plays where you should just be like, it's ridiculous.
He's taking shots downfield that there's no need. You know what I'm saying? Double and triple coverage. It's not making sense.
Was anybody down there? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Throwing up prayers. But anyway, Jalen Reagar still an option down the stretch. Not a guy, like I said, you're just shoving in lineups, but
yeah, because that team is desperate.
Yeah, we're making that push, so we got to wait and see. Maybe they pick it up. So, a couple of mentions for the wide receiver position. Sami Watkins. He's been out for the last 6 weeks. After the bye, they're hoping he comes back. We'll have to wait. It's a wait and see kind of approach. But Sami Watkins in a prolific offense like the Chiefs, it's a viable guy to have on your team, on your roster for sure. Jacoby Myers. Talked about him last week. He's the leading receiver on the Patriots. Patriots down the stretch play a lot of elite teams. They really do. They're going to be able to score on the Patriots. We know the Patriots defense is not there.
Yeah.
So Jacoby Myers he's leading his team receiving every week.
And Beasley, and honestly, he's been looking more explosive in the last 2 weeks than Harry or Edelman looked all year combined.
And he's thrown the same amount of touchdowns as Cam Newton in the last 3 weeks.
That's crazy. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. So Jacoby Myers, he's a must roster in my opinion at this point. So we could talk about Cole Beasley, 23.5 fantasy points and half-point PPR last week, over 100 yards, over 10 receptions with the touchdown. Bills' defense is not good. It looks like they're going to have to throw the ball. Cole Beasley, when you put him in your lineup, he ain't going to do nothing, but he's still a guy you should have on your roster.
Yeah, Cole Beasley is an option. His targets can honestly up-put in the next couple of weeks, given that John Brown had a crazy injury in that game. But the thing that scares you the most is John Brown is like the go-to in that offense, and he makes that offense tick. So it's kind of volatile, you know what I mean? You're not really sure where the targets are going to really go and be very productive, like good targets. But, I mean, Cole Beasley, he's been eating all year, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? He's getting the targets even when John Brown was out. So that's a safe 10-point floor if you really need that at the position. Yeah,
of course. Definitely a guy that just should be on rosters, period. So, and one other guy I mentioned, Corey Davis. He had the goose egg 2 weeks ago. Last week, led his team in receiving. And they got 2 tough matchups, don't get me wrong. At Baltimore, at Indy. Those are not places I would be starting him. But the schedule lightens up a lot more. Last 4 weeks down the stretch. Corey Davis on the season has been pretty good in every game outside of the dud that he put up 2 weeks ago. So he's a guy that needs to be rostered.
And he has that extra motivation with his brother's passing and everything like that. So that's honestly a guy that I would just put on my roster if I had the space. Yeah,
of course. And like I said, he might be able to fill some spots down the stretch. So we're going to move to the running backs.
Running back position, man.
First off, we're going to start with the Miami Dolphins. Ahmed. That's all I'm going to say because I can't pronounce
it. It seems like whoever they put back there, Gaskins, it don't matter. Ahmed, it don't matter. Except for Jordan Howard. You know what I mean? They're going to run the ball effectively. It is what it is. That team, I don't know. It's something funny about that team. I got a weird feeling about these Miami Dolphins.
They look good. Plain and simple. The defense is playing legit at a very high level. Tua, as long as they don't turn the ball over. And Ahmed, 21 carries, 85 rushing yards, and
21 carries. That's huge.
Yeah, and he's getting targets. That's what I'm saying. And he's getting receptions. They play at Denver this week, then at the Jets, then Cincy. The next 3, Myles Gaskin. Who knows when he's going to come back? So Ahmed should be honestly a very high waiver. Yeah. A viable RB2, RB3 flex kind of guy. You know what I mean?
We felt like Gaskins was an RB2, RB3 kind of player.
He turned into
Then he started getting the touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Ahmed is a guy that you probably want to just plug and play right now, immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Next guy I'm going to talk about, Niamh Heinz. It's a guy that's been on the waiver wire on and off. Who kind of knows? But here's the deal. 41% owned. In the last couple weeks, he's looked like the most explosive back in the backfield. Yeah. He just has. Jordan Wilkins, sorry.
Just carry to carry, he just rushing with a different vigor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know Jonathan Taylor, as bad as he's looked, Jordan Wilkins has looked even worse. So, Niamh Heinz is a guy that I would take a chance on. We talked about it early in the season. We didn't know. I don't know what they're doing with the running backs. From week to week, who knows what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, Niamh Heinz looked more explosive last week. 12 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown, plus a receiving touchdown. Back-to-back weeks with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I really feel like, you know what I'm saying, Niamh Heinz is an explosive player and everything like that, but he can get you 25 or he can get you 3.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know which way they want to run, and I think the decision of not understanding where they want to run is, I think they want to give the rock to Jonathan Taylor, but he's just not doing it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you have to figure that out on your team if you have him rostered right now, or he's on your waiver if somebody got tired of it. Do you want to roster this guy? Because honestly, they want to give him the ball because he is dynamic. But Niamh Heinz, he's outproducing them every carry, every catch. So, I mean, that sticks in the back of coaches' minds, you know what I'm saying, to see how explosive a player on the field is and how you progress us in the game. You know what I mean? So, if you're not doing that, you might be in the doghouse.
Of course. And you got to think of positive game script, obviously. If the Colts are in positive game script, they're going to run Jonathan Taylor, Wilkins a little more.
Yeah.
If they're in neutral, negative game script where they got to throw the ball, Niamh Heinz, you should see him a little more. They play the Green Bay Packers this week.
Yeah.
We already talked about it. That's a possible game where they might be in negative game script.
And I'm telling you, and it works better for Niamh Heinz, being that they'll be a negative game script, and he can catch passes out of the backfield.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So, and the Colts, cakewalk schedule down the stretch.
Yeah.
The strength schedule is easy. It's plain and simple.
It almost feel like, you know what I'm saying, a chicken dinner if you can get Niamh Heinz on the waiver right
I'm telling you. And now, obviously, you know his floor is next to nothing.
Yes.
But his ceiling is very high.
Very high.
You know what I mean? He's the ultimate boomer bust at the running back position.
His ceiling is RB1.
Yeah, of course. So, Caitlyn Bellage, we're going to talk about him just for a second. 19% owned.
I'm going to throw that one
18
away.
carries, 68 yards, 5 receptions, 34 yards. Little revenge game. Had 100 total yards of offense. He looks like the best back so far right now. He's outplaying everybody else. Justin Jackson just got put on the IR. Caitlyn Bellage is an option, especially at least to start this week. They play the New York Jets. You know what I mean? So this week, maybe you take a chance with Caitlyn Bellage. Mm-hmm. It's a possibility.
Yeah. You want to make a bet?
Sure.
I guarantee you that's the best game of Caitlyn Bellage's career.
Possibly. Without a touchdown?
Yeah, period.
That's all right. They're playing the New York Jets. It's an option. He's a viable option. There's some running backs out this week.
Another revenge game.
Yeah. Of course.
Oh, my God.
Hey, he didn't make it on the Jets roster, okay? He didn't pass the physical. So, anyway, there's some mentions at the running back position. Myles Gaskin.
Yeah.
He was on IR.
If
he was dropped, it's been 3 weeks now. I'm not saying he's coming back right away, but down the stretch, he's an option. Plain and simple. So, owning, I think, 65% of leagues. If he was dropped, pick him up. If you got an empty IR spot, put him on there. So, and then Wayne Gallman. He's on bye. Maybe you don't pick him up right now, but I'll tell you right now, 4 straight games with a touchdown. He's not efficient. He's looking like Todd Gurley out there, 40 yards and a touchdown every week. He's got 5 touchdowns in 4 weeks.
And that's that.
Okay, New York Giants. Anyway, Rex Burkhead.
I hate him. He just upsets everything I say.
I got you. Rex Burkhead, little dart throw this week.
Yeah.
New England Patriots. You saw last week he caught the touchdown. He's the passing down back most of the time. They're playing Houston Texans in Houston. So that game, honestly, could get out of hand scoring-wise. Both defenses are very subpar.
Yeah, and honestly, in that backfield right now, I feel like he's the most versatile back. And given that New England, they just need everything everywhere, I think that his utility will be very high in this game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and honestly, going forward.
Yeah, of course. He's definitely a dart throw for me, but if you got to take a chance, he's worth it, especially in a deeper league. You got guys on bye. There's, running backs, that are on bye. So, that's been the running back position. We moved to a couple tight ends.
Yeah.
Logan Thomas, 35% owned. Get him on your roster. I'm sorry. 35% owned. He's seen an average of 4 to 5 targets a week. Alex Smith, throwing the ball a ton.
Yeah.
Back-to-back 300-plus yard games.
Almost 400 this week.
I know.
That's crazy, man.
If you want to take a chance with Alex Smith, I get it, but the touchdowns haven't been there. Yeah. And it's like they just don't have a lot of receivers that are getting touchdowns. Logan Thomas maybe, but even Terry McLaurin, he's not getting the red zone targets.
I'm just saying, would you start Alex Smith or Phillip Rivers?
Alex Smith probably, but Phillip Rivers might be a negative game script too.
Yeah, that's
with Green Bay Packers. So that's coin flips there. So Logan Thomas, tight end, playing Cincy, bottom 5 against tight end position on the year, and then Jordan Reed, got to mention him. He's in an offense where they love throwing the ball to the tight end position. Last week he had that ridiculous catch.
And even earlier in the season, you know what I'm saying, he had a 30% target share in that game where Kittle was out. So I think he had 2 touchdowns in that game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's going to be viable week to week. You know what I'm saying? As long as Kittle's out, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. So that is what it is.
Absolutely. He's on bye this week. So if you got a spot, pick him up. You know what I mean? Or just ahead of next week. We'll have to wait and see. Couple defense I'm going to throw out there. Cleveland Browns. At home against Philadelphia Eagles, they turn the ball over a lot. Playing simple, Carson Wentz loves to get sacked and throw interceptions. And if Doug Peterson's going to roll him out there, then I'm going to start the Cleveland Browns defense. And then Minnesota defense. At home against the Dallas Cowboys. Minnesota's defense has been picking it up a little bit. They're playing bad offenses. Guess what? Dallas Cowboys, that ain't a good offense right now.
Yeah, but Dalton's back. The Red Rocket. How can you bet against that?
I know, right? I totally forgot. Yeah, he carried off the field last time I remember it. So I feel bad. I'm sorry. But Minnesota defense, definitely a stream. The Chargers, they're at the top of the list right now for the streams. I would be weary, considering, yes, they are playing the Jets.
The Jets are due for a win somewhere, somehow.
Eventually.
In this National Football League, it's hard for me to say that anybody would go winless. You know what I mean? So this is a prime spot for them.
Absolutely. And the Chargers, we already mentioned it earlier, giving up 29 or more points over the last 6 weeks.
Crazy.
Period. And they played some suspect teams in that span. So I don't know if I would necessarily be picking those guys up for a stream, but if you got to, I get it. So anyway, that's been the waiver wire. Just had a week 11. These are all the players that we're talking about for streams, possible starts.
And for sure, we'll get you on all these matchups caught up in the next couple of days. Friday, had the big matchups that we always do.
Yeah.
I think we lost 3 games this week, consensusly, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And it is the first 4 downs. It's B. Scott, G.O.D., you know what it is. Let's go.